So this is the third of 4 talks hosted by the Audience Impact and Intelligence team at Paramount. Today I'm going to be giving you a brief inspirational talk about perceptions of AI in the Realish world. First, I'm Christine, and despite what you see on the screen, I am not a deep fake. I am a human, and I'm a senior director on the team. If you haven't heard about us already, we are a specialized group of strategists and researchers with power, our partners with audience-forward, culturally fluent insights for an ever-changing media ecosystem. The last talk that we'll be going through this afternoon will be about implementing AI and thinking beyond your category using AI, so hopefully you can join us for that. Just a quick disclaimer. I'm going to be talking about some topics that are a little esoteric, maybe a little touchy. This is not meant to be any commentary on subjectivity or objectivity, the state of news or journalism. I'm really trying to provide a quick snapshot of the culture within which AI has entered and is already starting to impact, and context for brands and marketers to understand the frame of reference that consumers and audiences are already living within in our culture. So a conversation about AI begets at least an observation and consideration of authenticity, which we already heard earlier today. But authenticity is a perennial topic and also one that is notoriously hard to pin down. This may be even more so true today in a world already peppered with deepfakes and chatbots where the lines between real and fake are becoming more and more blurred, and where the veracity of any image or sound or even person can be and often should be called into question. On TikTok, we're seeing the mass proliferation of dupes. If you're not familiar with the term, dupes is short for duplicates, which is an imitation of a product or an experience. This dupe phenomenon and mentality has become so big that the platform has seen more than 7 billion views of dupe content. 1 in 2 Gen Zs and millennials have intentionally purchased a dupe, a trend which has reached such heights that New York Magazine has declared we are now in a state of peak dupe, where everybody wants the fake thing. Is It Cake was a meme that has evolved into a television show that is predicated on the very simple premise of people trying to discern whether or not the everyday object they're looking at is a bag of Doritos or a really well done dupe in the form of a cake. Travelers are now searching for, quote, places on Earth that seem unreal more than any other vacation topic on platforms like Pinterest. And AI models and influencers who were once on the fringes of the marketing world are now becoming accepted and embraced by everyday consumers and even fashion thought leaders, and gracing the cover of the biggest fashion magazines in the world. So, welcome to the Realish world. I don't know. Okay. Whether or not you agree that we have reached a state of peak dupe, it is hard to deny that the culture we live in already is overlaid with synthetic experiences, perceived contradictions, and difficulty in telling what authenticity really means. What appears real often has AI lurking underneath. Some futurists think that 90% of content online could be plausibly AI generated by 2025. While that might sound startling, we're already seeing moves in that direction in popular culture. Just one example is the viral hit by an anonymous creator online that used the voice AI of Drake in The Weeknd, and that even submitted itself for consideration in the Grammys. It now has, I think, more than 100 million views and streams. I'll pass it. As you can see, it sounds really real. Okay. Oh, all right. And what seems automated may reveal a human touch. This may manifest in unsavory and maybe even unlawful ways, like we've talked about before. this week about Scarlett Johansson possibly suing ChatGPT for using her actual voice in a voice AI. But it can also manifest in meaningful and poignant ways. Randy Travis, after undergoing a debilitating stroke, his producers used his voice to create a song that then charted on the top of Billboard country charts, to which his wife, Nancy, said, "Thanks, AI, for giving Randy his voice back." And the AI shortcuts that we're already using in our everyday lives have a lot of potholes. So we've discussed this already a few times this week, but 27% of chatbot conversations trained on Google's AI were found to be hallucinatory. And if you saw the recent news item that Google Gemini, which is the source of AI overviews, has hilariously taken Onion articles as real news articles and instructed users to do things like eat glue pizza and rocks for nutritional value. So where does that land us? Well, in a pretty complicated and complex blended reality, the Realish world. At the same time, we're seeing this rise in a culture of questioning. Everyday people are becoming armchair investigators. Their default now to double take, double click, deliberate the truth behind any given news item, experience, something that they see in the world. And this sort of infinite line of questioning has become so pervasive that we're even seeing parodies of the more sort of extreme conspiratorial fringes of it, such as Birds Are Real, a fake movement satirizing the rise of absurd conspiracy groups in science and history, started by some Gen Z pranksters. So why the culture of questioning? Thankfully, and hopefully affirmingly, the reality is that transparency and authenticity still matter. Despite the complexity, despite the blended reality, these things still matter. 98% of consumers say that authentic images and videos are pivotal in establishing trust. 75% of marketers are likely to face backlash over perceived risks of AI-generated content, according to Gartner. So the human desire, the human need to not be fooled, to know what's true, still persists, even though the culture has made it a lot more complicated. So how can brands keep it real in a realish world? I don't promise to have any sort of silver bullet answer for you, but our team has been observing some ways that brands are living in the realish world, acknowledging the AI future that we are already in, confronting it, playing in it, sometimes deciding to reject it, and doing it all with the cognizance that the AI that we talked about as a future thing is here now. Some may be playing with the surreal, so CeraVe is a great example of using the sort of the conspiracy theory of it all to posit Michael Cera at the center of the legendary skincare brand, which was a breakout spot during the Super Bowl. Some are finding creative ways to negotiate dual realities. Lululemon recognized that many of its consumers and would-be consumers were turning to dupes of their iconic leggings, so invited them to a mall in LA to trade in their dupe leggings for real ones, no questions asked. Others are challenging assumed realities. So telecom company Orange used AI to create deep fakes of iconic moments in Women's World Cup to illustrate misconceptions and prejudices we have around women in soccer and sports. And finally, we have some brands choosing to ground further in reality. Whether that's a brand like Hermes, which surprisingly, according to a recent Ad Age poll, is the #1 brand among Gen Z, which have sort of doubled down on provenance and craft and heritage. Or in the example of Dove, which has recognized that their industry is moving in a certain direction and has decided to put a stake in the ground and say, we're not going to be part of that movement. So if I could just leave you all with a really quick takeaway, it's that this is a reality check. We are in the realish world. We are already experiencing mixed messages of reality all around us. So authenticity still matters, and finding new modes of it is the key. Thanks.